So usually data will come in the form of XML and JSON. And very recently, the most commonly used format for data is JSON rather than XML. We are using JSON very much now. Everywhere it is JSON type because it is native to browser, and browser can, any platform can easily understand. It can be offline and all. What is JSON? How to deal JSON? That is another part we will discuss in our Angular concept, how to work with them. Actually, the main intention here is, in future, generally what happens is, suppose we have some data. That means we have some database tables. We have some database tables. Suppose we have a database and a table. Usually we have data tables. So we have options like some name, like price, like something this. Now this data is actually handled by server-side technologies. Server side we use JSP, PHP, ASP, Python, and all those. They use a business logic to communicate with the data, gets the data, and this data need to be sent to the client. So that means, so browser have to present the data. Browser have to present the data, and the format for the data is either XML or JSON format data. This is the general architecture. So I'm not explaining any architecture. So I just roughly presented this point here, right? So that is not the point. Now, important here is when you are dealing with data, working with the data. So here, the data usually will be in a format of JSON or XML. So XML comprises of elements. XML is a combination of elements. So parent, child, hierarchy of elements will be there. So XML data is a collection of elements. JSON data is a collection of objects. Usually you know how the XML data looks like. Generally, if you know, generally XML data, it comprises of like suppose we have products is the data. So XML data, that means we have like products, and in this products, so we have a product, in that we have an ID, so the value for that ID, that's how data is defined. Name, so like TV, like this, so name, like this. So this is just a simple point I'm explaining here, product, right? That means the data will be in this form in terms of XML. The data will be in this form in terms of XML. Now, how the data will be in JSON format? It is an array. JSON resembles an array. And it is an array of objects. That means usually it is an array of objects. And here every object comprises of, so we have a name. So every object comprises of name. We have name, ID. So we have name. So like TV, like this. So that means we are managing a collection of objects. That is what generally array of objects. We can create a combination. So when we are working with data in future, wherever you have to deal with the data, mostly it will be in JSON format. It's not mandatorily be in JSON. It can be XML or JSON. Client-side technology means, and you are dealing with the data means 100 to 100%, either it will be from XML or JSON. These are the two general formats of data that we use regularly. So it is the format of the data we have to maintain. In that case, what we have to do here is we have to learn how to present the data, configure the data. Let's see how we can define the data. So this time I'm creating, so that means how to create, configure. You should know that. So you should know that there is no specific data type for JSON type data. JSON type data. There is no specific data type for JSON type data collection. JSON type data collection. So we have to use any as type. We have to use any as type. That means how we can configure the JSON data, how we can define the JSON data. So we are using LET. So data is an any type and it is an array. This array this is an array, contains an object. Object contains property and property type. So this is what actually we are configuring this. Now, obviously, you know that already I showed you in a previous example how we can manage multiple hierarchy of data. So this is name and this is price. This is price and some value we defined here. And I'm adding another. So another multiple. That means this is array element 1 at 0. This is array element 2 at 1. That means I am defining name, some mobile, and price, and some value. That's how we are dealing with the data. Now, important. So here it is having a collection. This collection contains so name and mobile, name and price. It is a collection of objects. This is how our data looks like. Suppose I want to read the details from this. Suppose I want to read the price of mobile. Obviously, how you can read the price of mobile? Console.log. I want to print mobile price. Mobile price. I want to print mobile price. And how we can print the mobile price? How we can access the mobile price? So can you tell me the reference index numbers now? How to access? Can you tell me the reference index numbers, how to access? Means I want to access the mobile price. So it is very simple how you can add, because it is an array. What is our array? Array is data. Our array is data. Am I right? So data and mobile is present at one property. Am I right? It is present at one property. In that one property, in that one is this one index, right? It is present at one index. In that one index, we have two properties. One is name, another one price. Then we have to access dot price. I need price, then I need to access like this. I hope everyone is clear, right? This is a very basic thing. So generally everyone knows in JavaScript also, right? So that means we are accessing the index number 1. In that the property is price, because index number 1 is an object. So when it is an object, from that object we are accessing price. So how to access the property of any object? We have to use this mechanism. So you can define anything here. So that means now suppose I want to read all of them. If I want to read all of them, then I can do like this. I will write a for var product of data. So of operator will read every value. That means of operator is reading every value from data. Every value means every value is an array, is an object. Every value is an object. Here every value is an object. It is an object. Now what we need to do is we need to configure this object related name and price need to be printed. This object is now accessible by using this product reference. By using the product reference, we can access that object. That means technically now what is happening here is this is at index 0. This is at index 1, index 0 and 1. And now every object in that array is now accessible by using this product. So that means, so this off operator will read all the values one by one. It will first read the 0, right? From the data, it will first read the 0. After that, from the data, it will read 1. And important is every object is stored in this product reference, and this product can access these two details, name and price. The product can access the two details, name and price, because every product is representing an object here. That means we can access the name and price. So how do we configure here? So just console.log. So here I want to print name. So just I will just print the name dollar. How we can print the name? Product dot name, and I will put an hyphen, and I will just print another. So product dot price, product dot price. That is how we can access the data. How we can configure the data. Right? That means we are printing the name and the price and accessing the details. Right? So what is that name of the product? What do you mean by name of product? This product is a variable. Variable name can be anything. Variable name can be X, it can be Y, it can be Z. You see, this declaration is related to variable, Mr. Prasad. Right? This is related to variable. Then it can be anything. Variable name can be anything. You are using this variable for what purpose? You are using that variable to get the data coming from this particular data and store that record. Understood? Right? That means the product is just a reference to store every object. So that means in your better understanding way, I will then keep it as obj. Now that means an object obj dot name and obj dot price. Now it looks understandable to you now. But technically we should use the reasonable names. Am I right? Technically we should use the reasonable names. So that means every object from the data is collected by using of operator. In that object we have two properties. One is name, another one price. We are defining them. So now I am printing those details, and let's run this and see. We are reading all of them. So let's run this and see. And demo.ts. So tsc demo.ts and node demo.js, and it will get and print the details. Every object. We can configure, we can define, and we can filter based on the conditions and options. We can manage them. Right. Now I will give you a simple task. Just for 2 minutes you need to spend on that, and get me the result and show me so how you have done that, how you can do that. Right? So for example, suppose I have here category. I have category, and category is suppose electronics. Okay, I have another one, category. Category is so electronics. Okay, I have another name as suppose shirt, and price, and some price. And here category I defined as fashion, like this. And I have another one, name, so night casuals. So price is some price, and the category I defined as footwear. So footwear. Now here we have the data like this. We have some data like this. We have the data like this. Now, can you tell me how I can print the data is in this way? That means we have all the data like this. So now I need to print these details. Now, can you tell me how to print all the products whose category is electronics? How to print only the products? Because this can be in a random location. That means electronics may be at different location. We don't care where they are. Right? In this collection, I want to print only electronic products. Only electronic products. Can you tell me how to write the logic for that? We need to print only electronic products from that. If you are sending about for conditions, looping, iterations, then you are all wrong. You are all wrong. And you haven't concentrated on arrays concept that we discussed. We can use filter function. Remember why you are talking about for and why you are talking about for and the general iterations conditions, because already I told you in arrays we have a filter function. What filter function can do? It can search for your value and it can return the values that are matching your condition. Am I right? Just now I said we have to use filter function. No if conditions, no for loops. Understood? No for loops and nothing. We have to use condition. So find we cannot use. Why we cannot use find function? We cannot use find function. Why we cannot use find function? You are sending the messages here. We cannot use find function because it returns only the first occurrence, na? Right? It returns only the first occurrence. So you have to use filter. So how do you use the filter? Let's see. Then I need to create here. So var or let search results, search results, search results, search results. Here the search results is an any type array. It is an any type array. Here also we keep this as any type array. Search results is any type array. What it should contain? It should contain the result of your search. How you will search for anything inside the collections. What you have to do is we have to write like this: data dot filter. Filter uses a callback function. Into that filter callback function, we need to pass category name. Remember, category name is our own parameter. You can give any name, na? Because we are searching based on category name, right? Or here we will send obj, first obj. That means every object will be sent. Understood? That means in the data we have first object. that first object will be sent here. Obj contains first object details. Up to this understood? Obj contains first object details. So then tell me what to write now. Tell me what to write now. Condition. It should return. It should return. It should return obj dot category is equal to electronics. Electronics. Understood? Am I right? Right? That means so it should get and display the electronics. No for loop, no conditions. Right? That is the reason why we learned this filter function. I told you filter find functions. Actually, later you will learn about lambda. When you learn about lambda, you can make this more better. You can make this more simplified later when you learn about lambda expressions, because for that you need to know lambda expression. Yes, this, who is this Babu? You have any doubt, Mr. Babu? Any doubt?
No, no.
You are clear? You have any doubt? You simply raised your hand. You have any doubt?
No, 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 sir.
You are relaxing by raising your hand. Lower your hands. So I think if you are raising the hand, that means you have some doubt, right? Okay. Already we learned that filter function is available and how to deal with that filter function, right? So lambda expression allows us to do more simplified way. That you will learn later. Why? Because lambda expressions allows us to write the functions in a very short form. Actually, we call lambda functions, right? You will see that later separately. I will discuss about that. In filter functions concept, we will learn. Now, finally, results are present here. Now, you need to print them. That means I want to print the search results. Temporarily, I am directly printing them. Console.log. Console.log. I am directly printing search results. Search results. Actually, search results is an array. We need to print the values again by using a loop. Right? How you use the search results, that your wish. I am temporarily printing the search results. Then how we temporarily print the search results? So you can see it should print the search results. That means it is printing. It is printing. So the mobile, so and price and the category. Because it is printing the last one. Why? Because you are just printing it. We want all of them to print, then we can use, because it's an array. You are printing only one. So I need all of them to print. Then for where object of search results, and I need to print the object console.log obj, or individually details, like how we can display the details obj.name. It will print its name, and hyphen obj.price. It will print the price. It will print the name and price of the search results. That means this has to print the name and price of the search results. Only name and price I am printing. Then it should show this mobile. So why it is showing mobile? That means some spelling mistake may be there. Electronics. So here electronics. So everything is fine. Category also same. OBJ category. Some spelling have a problem. Here spelling is problem. Electronics. Okay, fine. We have some spelling issue. Fine. Now it has to return both the details of the products which are belonging to electronics. That means we have TV and we have mobile. We are printing the details of TV and mobile, right? That is how we are managing the results. You can search based on any type of criteria you have. Now can you tell me how I can show the results of electronics and fashion? Can you tell me? I want both electronics and fashion. What should be my condition? I should get both electronics and fashion. Then what is my condition here? Electronics and fashion. What is my condition? How I have to search? What do you prefer? Do I need to use electronics and can I use or obj dot category? Obj dot category is equal to fashion. Is equal to fashion. Obj is equal to fashion. Am I right? Every time you have to verify with the category, na? Every time we need to verify with the category. Every time we need to verify with the category, right? So that means here the concept is, suppose I am using this. So conditionally, how we are filtering the details and displaying the details. Now it will get that also. Shirt. It will get that and display. Right. Technically, how we can search for the values. These points are very important for us. Right. So why you use pipe symbol? You know general operators, na? Conditional operators, Mr. Anil. And I think you know conditional operators, how to use them. Logical operators, logical or. Am I right? Yeah. Right. So this is the basic approach how we can manage that. That means it's very important. You are writing multiple conditions and you are concatenating by using this. Actually, there is very short technique. Actually, later I will tell you about the technique. This is the one approach here. This is one approach how you can search and define. Example I will give here. Here our intention is to work with this array of objects. How we can work with array of objects. That is array of objects. Later in our Angular, we have to use this very regularly. Why? Because we will create UI. In the UI, we will ask user to select category. He will select one category. We need to show only the products that belongs to that category. These type of filterings are done by using this type of logics. Actually, in future, you can do it more simplified way by writing the expressions easily. Actually, so instead of means simple lambda expressions we can use. Actually, what we can do is, later I will tell you about lambda. So data dot filter, I can simply use a lambda. That is, here I am using obj. Obj implies obj dot category is equal to electronics. This is another way. Instead of writing that function definition and everything, we can configure in this way. Actually, this is a lambda designation. This you will learn later. We will discuss about that later. Actually, so here what is the point is, technically in lambda, I will show you what happens actually here is, technically in lambda what happens is, so this is a parameter, that means function parameter, and this implies is the return value. This indicates the return that indicates the return. So very simple, that means actually it is a function, it is a function, and the function is using obj. This function is using return obj dot category is equal to electronics. So this we are writing it electronics. This we are writing in this way. This is the parameter, and this implies is the return, and what it should return, the simple option we have defined. That is how we write the lambda expressions. So that simplifies your logic and it makes better. Actually, how to write lambda, I will tell you later. Generally, lambda functions so have a different technique to handle actually. That means generally lambda functions, how we handle is, this is function and implies, and what the functionality you can define like this. Instead of writing the complete function, a short method of configuring the functions. So lambda functions. Yeah, you can use lambda queries and lambda operators. You have lambda operators and lambda queries. We can use lambda queries and operators. Generally, what do you mean by two lambda at a time? First point, what do you mean by two lambda at a time? Tell me. What do you mean by two lambda at a time? What does that means? That doesn't make sense at all. Why? Because that is not using two lambda at a time. That means you are representing two functions as two separate lambdas. Understood? Yes, lambdas are available in JavaScript also. No? We call as arrow functions. Right? Lambda functions are also called as arrow functions. Arrow function, right? Yes. They're also called as arrow functions. Right. So the point is, later we will have a separate session on these lambda. Then you will get a little bit more clarity on understanding this. But I'm just showing that this can be happened. This is the shortest way we have to define. Right. Yes, Uttam, you have any doubt? Any doubt, Mr. Uttam?
Yes, in that previous method you have told us that. Actually, you have used that function. I'm something confused about that.
You are not there in array class?
No, sir, I am there in array class.
Then in array class, function is a callback function.
Yes, sir.
That returns the result, na?
Yes, sir.
Then what is confusion?
Sir, please show me that example, then I will tell you.
What is your doubt here?
Sir, actually, you written let search results column any that you use that filter function. Then this obj.
You are there in arrays class, huh?
Yes, I am there.
Arrays class, you are there. Can you tell me the syntax of filter function? Syntax. How to write filter function? Do you know syntax?
Yes, I have studied that.
You are referring your papers, huh? Book, huh?
Yes, sir. Actually, I have that.
Right. Filter function syntax. What we learned generally. What is filter function syntax? Filter function syntax is array name dot filter.
Yes, sir.
It uses a function, na?
Yes, sir.
Am I right? This function will return the value, na?
Okay, sir, clear.
Understood?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Right. So the point is, this will become more easy to handle. This will make easy to handle. Yes, yes. So you can use lambda. You can use lambda. So later we will see that. So here I am writing for. So where obj of search results, and here we are printing console.log. So I will print just obj.name and hyphen, just obj again here obj.price. We are printing those details, obj name and obj price. Because search results is an array, we need to search for that and display those values. That means we need to configure in this way. So we need to configure in this way. Now you can see the results same, everything is same. Only the point is we have designated this in a simplest way that we know, right? The concept is same, everything is same. So later you will learn about lambda functions, which in JavaScript or anywhere people call as arrow functions. When you learn about that arrow function, then you will learn about how you can designate a function in a shortest way and handle the functionality, right? Right. So technically, our intention is to understand how to deal with complex data. Now remember, in this, there can be so many things happening. There can be so many things happening inside them. So many things. That means many people keep on asking in the doubts like, can I use two-dimensional array, three-dimensional array, or some XYZ dimensional array? You can do whatever there in the world of programming here in the array. Why? Because just you know how to handle the array. I already told you there can be an array inside array. Can there be an array inside array? Can there be an array inside another array? Yes, we discussed about that. There can be an array inside another array. Am I right? That's what we learned. Everyone is sending yes, one guy sends no. And that is the person who was asking regularly in the everyday session, like, can there be an array inside another array, sir? Because already we discussed about that point. We can create an array inside array. We can have a complex array with functions also, I told you. Am I right? Yeah, array with function also I given an example. No, right. So can there be an array inside another array? Yes, there can be an array inside another array. There can be any multi-level hierarchy. For example, see here, every product is having shipped to. Shipped to is an array. This tells where it can be shipped. It can be shipped to Delhi. It can be shipped to Hyderabad. So another product is shipped to. It can be shipped to, it is cities collection where it can be shipped. That means here we can define. So it can be shipped to Hyderabad. It can be shipped to Mumbai, like this. Okay, and here we have another. We have shipped to, and this is again an array. So this array says some Chennai and some Hyderabad, like this. We are configuring an array. So inside that array, right, shipped to. So every object is having an array, right? So this is some Hyderabad and on Mumbai. We have learned this, am I right? So there can be an array. Now, how we can present the data? Right? That means it can present everything properly. Now, what I need to do, I need to print this shipped to. How you will print shipped to? So shipped to is an array. I can write here. I want to print where it will be shipped to. So then I will write a simple logic here, obj dot shipped to. Shipped to is an array. How we can read all the elements from the array and print it? how we can read all the elements from that array and print it. I can use toString. Am I right? I can use toString. I can use join. Am I right? We learned, right? That means we are configuring them and we are accessing them. We are configuring and accessing them. That means now when I run this, that means it contains all this data. It contains all this data. That means TV shipped to Delhi, Hyderabad. Mobile can be shipped to Chennai, Hyderabad. That means you can define an array. An array can be inside array. You can have anything here. So now very important, some people ask, because see, stop thinking about this TypeScript as your Java or as your .NET. Then you will get more clarity. If you start comparing this with your Java and .NET, then you will have a lot of confusion, right? Stop thinking and comparing with that, right? If you think and compare with that, so you don't need to, means you will be confused in so many concepts. Because I told you that here in TypeScript, array can have the behavior of everything. Whatever your technologies have a collection. Now, can you tell me that can any product, suppose fashion, so this fashion product is there, shirt, fashion product. Can I write one more city here? Can there be 3 values? Can there be 3 values shipped to? Can there be 3 values shipped to? Yes. That is what generally you call jagged array. That you called as jagged array, right? Right? Yes. Already I showed you inside array how to deal with an array, right? Inside array, this is how you are dealing now. Inside the array, how you are configuring and defining array, another array. Already this is an array. In that we have an object. In that we have an array, right? Structurally, see, if you know how you are writing, then you will also know how you have to access it, right? That means this is a complex thing we have seen. So that means this is another example of multiple. Suppose I am showing you a simple option here. LET data is an any type array is equal to, it is an array. In that, this is again array. So this is having again an object, name. This is having TV, and this is having again a property like price, and it is having some price. So this price is some price. So like this we defined, and another array, and this is so name, and this is some shirt and some price. Now can you tell me how I can access the shirt price? How we 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 can define the shirt price? I'm asking the reference index number. Try to tell me console.log our data. Shirt is present at which index? Shirt is present at which index? 1. Okay. In that index, it is an array. Am I right? In that index, it is an array. Now, how we can access that? Again, at that index, we have an array, right? How we can access that? Another array is present at that index. How we can access that? How we can access that? That array, in that index, there is another array. At that index, there can be several arrays. Now, how we can access? Can I define like this? So that means here we are defining. So 0, right? And 0 is an object. So object is having a property. Property I can use. So price, I can write price. Have you done this in your technologies? Right? So that means you are accessing the price of that particular value. You are accessing the price of that particular value. So it is going to display that price. Am I right? Understood? Understood? It is going to display that price. It is 2-dimensional, 10-dimensional, 25-dimensional, anything it can be. I told you, this is more far than your Java. That means it can handle very complex types than your Java can handle generally. Am I right? Because we learned that arrays have restrictions in your technologies, but here we don't have any restriction. We don't have any restriction. You can handle in any way you want, anything, right? That means it can be. Now some people ask, can I have uneven collection of? Yes, you can have uneven collection, right? We can have uneven collection also. That means now one array contains, the first array contains an object, one object. Second, it contains, can it contain 2 objects? Am I right? It can be there now. First array contains 2 objects. Second contains 3 objects. First contains 1 object. You can write anything you want. You can configure anything you want, right? Just you need to know how to represent it. How do we represent it? How we can handle it, right? That is how we need to manage. So if you are dealing with complex, then you have to first understand how you return it. Then generally you need to follow the traditional approach, how you access arrays and objects. How you can access arrays and objects. That is the traditional approach you need to follow. You need to follow, right? That is one important thing you need to understand. So this is a simple point to make you understand, because many times people have doubts like 2-dimensional array, 3-dimensional array, jagged array. You can do everything here, right? How you need to represent it, that is the logically you need to understand here. So this is the basic thing, how we can work and configure with the array. How we can configure with the array. So, and this time I have shown you array of objects. I have shown you array of objects. That means it's a combination. And remember, a collection can contain combination of anything, even functions also. I told you it can contain a combination of functions also. And also you remembered we discussed about destruction of array. You can destruct these arrays and collect those values independently and deal with those values independently. So separate arrays, we can configure them and we can use them. So this is what traditionally you need to know about array, object, and a combination of array of objects. Because whenever we have to deal with the data, this is how we generally deal with the data, complex data, right? So once you understand about this data, now we need to know about another important type. So the important type, we need to know how to handle regular. One more question is there. Many people are asking that also, that generally, can I define an array that can handle 2 different types of data? That means union of types, union of arrays. Is it possible? Union of arrays. That means you can have a union of array also. Union of array means, for example, LET, data. Data is a string type array, pipe symbol. It is a number type array. Understood? It is a string type array or number type array. So we are initializing the memory for this. Understood? It can be union of types. We can configure union of types. That means now what kind of values you can store into it. It is not tuple. If you say tuple, it is wrong. Why it is not tuple? Tuple means one array can handle two different types of values. This is not that. This is one variable to handle one type of same type of array. That means either all should be string type, either all should be string type, or all should be number type. Am I right? Huh? It is not a tuple. Am I clear? Right? It is not a tuple. It is not a tuple. That means either all can be string or all can be number. I hope everyone clear for that, right? That means we can write data is equal to, into this I am storing A and B and I am storing some 10. This is not valid. Am I right? That is not valid. You can put C. And I am writing here data is equal to 10 and 20 or 30. This is also valid. Am I right? At different occasions, we need to handle different values. Now tell me, if I access console.log, so if I access data of 0, what it will return? 10 or A? It will return 10. Obviously, you know it will shadow the value, na? Am I right? That means it overrides the value, not shadowing. It is overriding that value, overriding the value. Then what is the purpose of two types defining? Then what is the purpose of two types defining? The purpose of two types defining is nothing but to handle according to situation. I hope everyone understood. That means according to situation. If string type is coming, we will store string. If number type is coming, we will store number. We will first decide what type of data is coming, right? So first you need to understand what type of data is coming. Based on that, we can handle both. What happens if I give any type? If I give any type, it will be transformed into a tuple. Am I right? One value can be number, another value can be string. It should not be like that. That's the reason you can configure union of types for arrays. So that means you can configure union. So union of types for arrays. That's what you can do like this. You can define union of arrays. So there can be 2, 3, any number of types of arrays you can configure, then use them. That is what actually the concept of types, right? So once you know about this, next important, we need to understand about regular expressions. What is regular expression and how to deal with regular expressions, right? That we will discuss in our next session. So Monday we will finish with data types. Then we have to discuss about operators, statements, and other types of options in TypeScript, right? Monday we will continue with this session. Okay. And I hope everyone is following our classroom. So no more GitHub. Everything I will be uploading there. Okay. I already shared on Google Classroom, Mr. Vijendra Mishra. Were you not there in yesterday's session? I told you that we stopped sharing everything on GitHub. Now we have a private repository for our classroom. I given the classroom code also, na? Only few people added. Yesterday's notes is shared under arrays concept only. Once verify. Right, tomorrow no session, again Monday. Shadowed array is not a correct concept, Mr. Vishnu. Shadowed array is not a correct concept. So shadowed means you are redeclaring again. It is not shadowing, it is reassigning the values. Understood? It is